Okay, now it worked. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. It said my broadcast was deleted. So hopefully this is actually up and in the right spot. But hello, we are live. I don't know if anyone is here yet. It's just us, probably. Welcome to the Bunny Live Show. We're first. Are any comments showing up for you guys? No, huh? Nothing yet.
I'm just checking your channel, Raine, to see if it's
Okay.
I don't think it's on the same link.
Yeah, I just got a notification too. So.
Okay, it's up.
Yeah, we're good. We're live.
Oh yeah, there we go.
We'll see it. There we go. Okay.
Oh, but it's on a different link. So maybe if you want to go to the other one you've got that you already scheduled.
I can't
Oh,
see
And
that.
just write in the comments of that one like there's a different link because there's people waiting in that other one.
Oh yeah, someone says that people are waiting on the other link.
Yeah, let me go.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
The other one's like not even on here.
Yeah, I
I
can't.
have it open here.
Oh, there we go. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it. All right.
I don't know what's going on. That was totally probably my mistake. I messed up.
That's okay.
I'm sorry, guys. This is my first time.
We live and learn.
So obvious that this is my first time. We'll just wait a little bit and let other people hop over from the other one.
Yeah.
It's just my luck. I don't know how to like get rid of the other one.
I can't see it anymore.
Just delete it through your YouTube like you would normally if you were deleting a normal video.
I don't want like.
You can do that after. It's not like
Oh, okay.
essential.
You'll just have to do it through like the YouTube studio bit.
Yeah, I just somehow I used like a different link. I don't know how that happened, but now we're here. Okay. Hello. All right. So first of all, do you guys want to introduce yourselves first? We will start with Kat.
Hi, I'm Kat. My channel is Kat Chats. I read a lot of thrillers, contemporaries, getting into horror now. Should we say the rating now or wait?
Sure. Go ahead and say a rating too. Why not?
Okay, and I give this 4 stars.
Fun. All right. So Kira.
Hi, I'm Kira. My channel is Kira Foster. I talk about all kinds of books over on my channel. I love contemporaries. Recently, I've been really loving dark academias, so I was super excited for this book, and I ended up giving it 3 stars.
Ooh. Okay. Crystal.
Hi, I'm Crystal from Crystal Marie Books. I tend to read a little bit of everything. I mostly read thriller and horrors, but lately I've been reading a lot of like paranormal romance, which I've been really loving. I don't know why, but I've just been craving it. Bunny was interesting, and I gave it a 3-star rating. It was definitely a middle of the road book for me. It wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed it.
3. It's so crazy. Both of you gave it 3 stars because I feel like it's either one or the other. Like I never.
Yeah, that's like a really uncommon thing.
Yep.
Marcy.
Hey everyone, I'm Marcy from Marcy Reads, and I read a little bit of everything as well, but predominantly in the horror genre. I love me some spooky bookies. That was so cringy. But I I ended up DNFing Bunny, unfortunately, but if you guys sway me with your spoilers, then I might finish it, but up to now, it's a DNF for me.
Oh. And Molly.
Hi, I'm Molly from Mind and Molly. Over on my channel, I mainly read fantasy and thrillers, but I also try different stuff in a series I do called BookTuber's Choice. I also DNF Bunny. So, yeah. I don't know if I'll try and read it again. I might have to leave it a while because it put me in like a bit of a slump.
How far did you guys both get that DNF'd it?
I got up to page 193, so not that far from the end. I think the book has like 300 and something pages. So,
Molly, how far?
I got up to 149, so it was the end of chapter 1. I pushed through that far.
Wow.
And then it's just like no.
Other people DNF'd it too. See, you're not the only ones.
Good. I thought I was going to be the only one out of the group. I'm like, oh no.
And some 3.5. There's a 4 out of 5. Okay, so I gave it 5 stars. I'm the only one that, like, I was obsessed with it. I don't know why I loved it so much, but I think a lot of it had to do with just the general writing style and the fact that it was freaking weird. And I just love weird stuff. I don't know. I ended up really, really enjoying like the ending, and we'll get into that later. I'll let you guys know before we do get into spoilers, but we can talk a little bit about like the characters and the setting and such before we get into that. And anyone in the chat that wants to join in can just like chime in if they're still reading it or whatever. And then I'll let you guys know before we actually get into the spoiler stuff. But, oh, by the way, my name is Raine, and my channel's combined if you like are even subscribed to me or not or whatever. But I usually read mystery thrillers and horror. Sometimes I dip into fantasy. I do like an occasional graphic novel or manga. So that's typically what I read, and I am the person who created this read along. It kind of started with the Read with Friends group. All of the girls wanted to read it too, so I was like, hey, like, why don't we read it together and like buddy read it? And then somehow it turned into a read along, and I was just so lucky to be joined by all of you guys. Like, you all wanted to host it with me, which was really, really cool. And yeah, I think what drew me to it was the weirdness of it. I don't know about you guys, like what kind of drew you to picking this one up or wanting to read it?
Yeah, I think just hearing everyone who had read it like say how weird it was. Like I feel like the people I saw talking about it never really gave a description of it. They were just like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever read. Like, don't even know how to describe it. And I was like, all right, I'm sold.
Yeah, that was it for me too. I feel like a lot of people were saying like it was compared to The Craft or Mean Girls or Heathers, which actually I've never seen Heathers. Have you guys seen it? Are you able to compare it to that? No,
I
haven't seen Heathers. But I have watched The Craft and I have watched Mean Girls, and I definitely think that's like a pretty solid comparison. I don't know. I thought it.
Yeah, I felt the same way on that too. Like when I heard it being compared to The Craft and Mean Girls, those are two of my like favorite movies. So I was like, all right, I'll probably like this book. But I felt like there was such a diverse rating on the books that I wanted to read it myself and kind of just figure it out. So it was interesting. I mean, it really was.
Sure. That is fair. There's definitely, we were talking before this about there's a lot of theories, and we'll get into those later. Mm-hmm. So overall, like when you guys first started the book, do you think you like got into it right away, or did it take you a bit to get into?
I liked it at the very beginning. I thought that because obviously it's split into 3 parts. The first part was the one that kind of like gripped me because I didn't know what was going on and I was really interested. And it was only kind of after that I started kind of wavering. So the first bit was good, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It took me a little bit to get into too. I didn't just jump right in loving it from the start. That's for sure.
I like how somebody said The Craft meets Frankenstein.
Yeah. I like that. I really like that. That's cool. I got
It took me a while. It took me a while to get into it. I mean, I don't think I ever got into it, but I was intrigued to see where it was going with the weirdness. But the audiobook, I don't know if anybody else listened to the audiobook, but some of the voices and some of the accents that were happening were just like throwing me off. And then I tried to go to the physical read of it, but it's hard for me to like really go in between physical and audiobook. And so I just decided to continue with the audiobook, but maybe reading physically, I don't know if it would help.
Yeah. Because I didn't try the audiobook at all, but I definitely I love the physical copy, and I don't know if you guys annotate it all, but I typed it up because it was, I don't know. I really like the way it was written. It's kind of, it has like a weird ambiguous writing. Like you don't really know what's going on. Yeah. And I don't know. I like weird stuff. I couldn't predict anything that was going to happen, which made me want to keep reading it. Help that the chapters were short. I love chapters. I think that's what I loved about it too. Oh, the last part. Oh, okay. Yeah, because it was separated into 3 different parts, and I think all 3 parts were a little bit different, almost like a different story. I don't know, to me at least. It felt like it would just end so weirdly, and then it would start this whole different theme. I don't know what was going on. Yeah. I'm excited to actually get into what the story's about, but just really quick, what did you guys think of the main character or the setting? I never went to college. I did go to community college, but I never attended at university. Do you guys think that was pretty true to the to the way that it was?
I never went either, so I don't really know.
I'm I don't know. But I did really like the main character. She kind of reminded me I kept wanting to, the only thing is I kept wanting to call her a different name, and I don't know why. Her name was Samantha, but I kept wanting to call her Alex through the whole book. And I don't know.
She reminded me of the girl from Mean Girls, the best friend, the gothic chick. She reminded me of her. And that's what I kind of pictured in my head the whole time was her. So I forgot the name of the actress's name, but
no, Lizzie Kaplan, I think. Yeah. I really like
her. That's kind of what I saw when I was reading it.
Yeah, she seemed like that. Kind of she was just kind of like a Lydia from Beetlejuice. In my mind, I was just she's an outcast, a loner, very dark, dark humored. So I was really into her. And I was I don't know, were you guys surprised that she was so easily swayed to that all happened really fast.
Very fast, extremely. I was what is going, how, I mean, from one second to the other, I was what?
Yeah, because her friend, I hate them, so annoying, have these weird nicknames for them. And then she gets an invite and she's oh, okay.
I think that maybe she was hiding it, that how much she actually did like them, and was just trying to say that to make her friend happy. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even think that she liked them. I feel she obviously hated them for a full year, but I think maybe the hatred was kind of a defense mechanism because she didn't fit in. And I think even when they sort of invited her in, she didn't really like them or understand them, but she was just kind of swept away with being included, I think.
Yeah, she was just so she wanted friends so badly, I guess, or just wanted to be a part of something, or wanted that privilege again because, okay, she gets invited to this Smutsalon. That's pretty much in the beginning. Gets invited. This is where she becomes included in the group. So we're gonna get into spoilers now. So anybody who hasn't read the book should probably dip out now before hopefully we still have some people here who still
it's like a short enough book. Like it's kind of hard to like not talk about it without spoiling things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. It was hard to even talk about this book in my vlog. I felt like I was so like I wasn't like descriptive enough because I didn't want to
can't be.
Anything, so it was
You know,
getting into it and like not telling anybody. Like I just said, I loved it, and it's still like
yeah, it's
so
good.
It's hard to actually talk about why I loved it because it's so freaking weird. So I'm gonna check and see what some other people are saying first too. So Megan says, I agree. She wanted to be in the group regardless of whether or not she liked what they were doing. I think so too. Yep, she wanted to be a part of the group. I got the feeling she was pretty lonely and wanted, yep. Okay, cool. So we all kind of felt the same way about that. So she gets invited to the smut salon or whatever. And yeah, I was surprised by the fact that she just kind of jumped right in and was like totally cool. But they were giving her this like
really. Sorry, Raine.
No, go ahead. The only thing I was going to say is they were giving her these drinks, and I was like, is she being like drugged or something? I don't know.
Was she? Does it ever clear up?
I kind of felt that way too. I was like, is this a bad acid trip? I was like,
that's exactly how I
are they putting tabs in her food? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I felt like she was like maybe in and out. I mean, I don't know because I didn't finish it, obviously, but I felt like she was almost in and out of dreams, and it wouldn't distinguish from. I can't even explain it.
Yeah, it was like a fever dream. It was almost like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, like where it's like all these scenes just jump into one. You don't even know what's going on. Like that's basically what it was. Like I still don't know what I read. That's basically how I feel. But I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it, but I don't know what it was. Like, I don't know.
I'm going to explain it in my wrap up. I don't know what I'm going to say.
Yeah, it says I thought they explicitly drugged her a few times. I thought that way too. A lot of people, it seems, thought that because they gave her this drink like right when she showed up. And I was like, okay, is all this stuff in her head because they're drugging her, or are they drugging her to like...
Yeah, and because at times it almost felt like, at least in the audiobook, that the original bunnies had like this dreamy kind of like monotone kind of speaking, and then she started thinking that same way, like in this just going along, and then I'm like, okay, she has to be drugged because you just can't change your whole demeanor, the way you talk, the way you think, and they kept repeating things. What was up with that?
Yeah, it was weird. I think very weird.
That's definitely like a brainwashing type thing, I would think. Like with the repeating of things, like maybe that's their way. Because I mean, it definitely felt very cult-like when she started to actually get into the group. Did any of you guys know like beforehand what was going to happen in the book at all? Because I actually did.
I had no idea going into the book at all. I just heard that it was a weird book, and I was like, all right, I'll read it. You know?
Yeah, I didn't read the synopsis.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
I knew it was weird, and I knew there was like animal death, like sacrifice of animals. So, like I didn't know those things connected.
I wanted to die, but whatever.
Yeah.
Because okay, so I had watched Kayla from Books and Lala. I had watched her review on the book. And I don't know if, because sometimes I watch like BookTube on my TV, and I don't know if she said like, hey, I'm going to spoil a little bit like before. So when she had talked about it, she did say like, okay, so these girls like kind of all get together, perform these like magic rituals. They turn like men from bunnies or whatever. And that their parts like always aren't like the part that they should
They don't work.
Yeah. So I knew that was going to happen. So I would even found it kind of, I pretty like knew what was going to happen, and I still really liked it. But I'm just curious if you guys knew any of that already, because I did, and I knew that it was just going to be really, really, really like how weird it was going to be. And like, that's why, because I was expecting it. I don't know. So I wasn't like shocked by anything that happened, I guess. Let's see. Sorry. Okay. Oh yeah, someone else saw Lala's review too. I don't know if the part that I watched was specifically like spoilery or whatever, but I mean, I knew that part going in. Like, what did you guys think when you found that out? Like, were you guys like, what the hell?
Yeah, I was like,
I still was like, is this real?
And I didn't even understand it until like maybe the third or fourth. I was like, wait, am I hearing this right? Is this what they're doing? Like turning Bunny out? I can't.
It was really weird. It was cool. That's why I gave it a 3-star. Like, I could have easily given it a 1-star because it was that weird for me. And I like weird, but at some point I just didn't know what I was reading, and the words were just being read, but nothing was being absorbed. And that's why I got a 3-star, really. But it was just so, I was like, is this real? Like, I don't know, but I just still don't know.
Well, there's like a lot of theories. Like if you end up like reading some reviews online, and I was reading some articles, and so many people had different interpretations of like what she's experiencing, because like obviously like we had talked about how she wanted a sense of belonging. Like obviously she felt like some type of abandonment issue because like her mom died, and then like her dad took off, and then she was like rich at one point, and then she wasn't rich, so like everything was kind of pulled away from her. And like I feel like that kind of made her not a weaker individual, but made her more susceptible, I guess, to becoming part of their group, because in part 2 she's like one of them. Even after all this weird stuff happens, like she sees them do this like disgusting, disturbing stuff, like these blowing up bunnies or whatever, and then she's like, oh yeah, I'm one of you. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
And what I didn't understand was, and I don't know if it gets cleared up towards the end, but I feel like she never sat with them anywhere. Like she was never seen with them, like in the on campgrounds. She was never seen with them, but then would get together with them. Was there a point to that?
It was very secret.
I don't think so. But now that you mention it, like, yeah.
Yeah, like she never, like in the class, they were all sitting over there and she was always alone. It was never like after the first time that they hung out in the, what is it, they call it the workshop shop or whatever. She never went to sit with them in the class. I always felt like she was being ignored or not seen, unless it was to like make her feel like an outcast. Like when they say, oh, let's write about what home means to all of us. And then they make her read it. But other than that, they don't pay attention to her.
Right. They're like a very pretentious group. Like they were super annoying, but this is like so funny, the fact that I just loved it so much. I found them so fascinating because I hated them so much. Yeah. I was like, they're so pretentious in the way they talk. They're like, you're ethereal, you're a goddess. And I'm like, I hate you, but I love it.
And the description of some of their outfits, I was like, oh my gosh, that girl's wearing that? Like, what is going on?
Like, it's obvious that like they would, like people would recognize them. They're like, what the hell? These girls are freaking
what
weird.
are they up to?
Yeah. So I know some people, I remember seeing in the Discord chat, some people had said like because they had mentioned there were like beheadings happening around campus and stuff like that. You guys think like the bunnies were part of that, or do you think that was just something that, I don't know, like, because I know a lot of people have said that like this is all in Samantha's head, that none of this actually happened, or that this is kind of like something that she's writing for her class or something. That
I mean, when I got to the end of it, I think mental health takes a huge front seat in this story. And I think what happened was she was a lonely girl. She hung out with these girls. And I think she might have had schizophrenia, or she has undiagnosed schizophrenia. And I think by drinking the drugs and like kind of letting loose a little bit, it might have just set off a little bit more of that deep dive into darkness kind of for her and her mental state. So that's kind of like a view of it that I got also. I was like, maybe this is just her mind? I don't know.
Right.
I kind of thought like similarly, like I thought like a lot of this was what she was working on in class, like what she was writing, but I think that was like offset by her mental stability, like if she was being drugged, like taking drugs herself, I don't know. But I did think a lot of it was like her own writing and work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think so too, because she's in that creative writing workshop class, and it just seems like it was a theory that I had seen after the thought. So I mean, definitely reading it, I was like, I don't know what this book's about. It's like you definitely have to think on it for a while before you come up with your own theories, and I still am not sure. Not 100% sure what it's supposed to be about, but I definitely think that one's a pretty solid theory, like that she had written like the whole thing. Like all of it is just a story that she wrote.
Yeah. So it's never clarified at the end as to what.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's not. Yeah, let me see what other people are saying too. I know some people right here said, I'm surprised this is categorized as horror and it's tagged as horror most often on Goodreads. Guess maybe because of the supernatural elements.
Maybe because of the gore, because of the exploding body parts.
The animal harm. Yeah. But it's definitely more psychological and thriller, kind of. Yeah.
Right. I think so too.
Yeah.
Supposedly they sacrifice bunnies and transform them into guys with very Frankenstein monster qualities. Yeah, that was interesting. Did you guys find some of it pretty comical? Because I did. I was like,
yeah.
At some parts.
Definitely. And usually like animal harm kind of bothers me, but for some reason this one just felt very cartoonish to me. Yes. So I didn't, I enjoyed it.
I thought the same when they first are explaining things to her, that they're like, okay, we're gonna let you in, and so they have the bunny. I'm like, oh no. Yeah. But then when it happens, I'm like, okay, it wasn't like they were literally slaughtering them, with knives and stuff. But what was I gonna say? I was thinking something and I lost my train of thought. I know that at one point, I forget who, let's just call her Bunny. She talks about having sex with the guys, or that I guess they don't have working parts. Is that anything that ever happens throughout the book?
No, they still don't. And like I don't know if she says like that their heads explode if you try to take them to bed, or if you talk.
Yeah, they like, that's what I pictured, like their heads like shaking and then boom.
That's what I found. About it. That's why I found it like so funny. It's got really dark humor. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially like the one part where like they had created a bunny man that was like part chef, part carpenter, because they couldn't decide which one they wanted more. Yeah. And they called him like a chef carpenter or something. And I laughed. I was reading that during the Read with Friends live stream, and I was laughing so hard. It was so funny.
So funny.
That was so funny to me. I loved it. Let's see. So what did you guys think about Ava? Did you think she was real from the start? Did you like her? Did you not like her? What did you think? I heard some people say that she was annoying.
I thought she was an imaginary friend. Yeah. Like,
I kind of thought that way too, because she never actually had like, there was never like quotations around the stuff. I thought she was kind of like in her head.
Yeah, exactly. Like this.
Yeah, it's especially
someone
when
who's like her.
When she just disappears, like out of the blue, like she just stops talking to her and she doesn't answer her text. And then she sees her. I'm like, wait, is she really there? Is she? But because I wasn't reading it, I didn't know that it wasn't in quotation. So maybe that she's in her head. I don't know if her storyline ever closes.
I thought that Samantha had like made her from a swan, and that's what the swan was. Okay, it was.
What?
So
what?
Weird. Like,
These are the reactions we get from people who haven't finished the book yet.
Yeah, because I knew something was up from her or up with her from the beginning because they kept like mentioning that she was wearing gloves, and then they were talking about how the guys were always wearing gloves because their hands would get messed up. I was like, why is she wearing gloves too?
Oh, I didn't catch that.
That was a good catch, because I didn't catch on to that at all. I was like shocked. I was like, oh my God. Like I thought she was fake, but I didn't know she was like made up.
Literally made.
So was she made up before she even knew what the bunnies were doing?
I thought so. And I thought that's the bunnies like realized that, and that's why they brought her in.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know.
Like she obviously had some type of like magical quality.
Yeah, they both were doing like the same type of magic, so they were like, let's bring her in.
Yeah.
Oh.
So many theories.
Yeah, I'm reading all the comments.
Oh, okay. I thought this too. My initial theory was that Ava was a friend who had died. And I kind of had that same feeling because I was like, is she a ghost, or is she like a...
Yeah, and she wore like the black veil, like the lace veil, like they described that. So in my eyes, I was like, okay, maybe it's a dead friend that passed away because that's significant. But yeah, she's a swan or something.
Wow.
Okay. Jonah is her real mate from college who helps her and invites her out at the end. So I was super annoyed by Jonah in the beginning. I don't know why. Like he just kept like repeating everything that she said, which kind of annoyed me. But I guess he was supposed to be like the love interest in the story. I don't know. How did you guys feel about his character? Like what his purpose was? Do you guys think that he was real? Because I know in the end, like it's pretty much just left open to like whatever you think it might be, like whether he's actually real or made up.
Yeah,
I don't know. What did you guys think?
In the end, because like the last line, she invites him to come with her, and then she's looking at the mud, and then it says, "Sure, Samantha," says the mud, "I'd love to." And then I was like, is she just like imagining everything?
Yeah, like is
everything
she
just in a crazy house?
Yeah.
But he did annoy me in the beginning because he just like seemed like that type of guy who like never takes no for an answer and is like, "Where's my hug?"
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't really know his place either in the story. Like I just didn't feel like he had a place early on in the story and throughout the story. So like when it got to the end, okay, it closed up with him, but at the same time I just was like, what is he? Like, you know, so I just felt like he had no use in the story really.
Right.
Until the end.
Yeah, someone said they feel Jonah was her lifeline to reality, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. I like that too.
So if I think of it that way, then yeah, he has, you know, a place in the story. So
yeah. So do you guys, someone said that the bunnies are real. I didn't doubt that. Those girls are real. They seem to have lost their magic powers at the end. So do you guys think that the bunnies were real?
I still don't know. I don't know.
I don't know, because of the way they would talk and like repeat themselves. It was almost like maybe it was in her head and she was just that repeating quality. I keep going back to that because I found that so absurd. Like, are you drugged? Are you just imaginary?
I don't know if I
don't know.
Yes or no.
I know it's so hard to like determine what was like real and what was not in this entire thing. It was
because I couldn't figure out if the bunnies were actually friends or if that was a figment of her imagination or what.
Do you think it's possible they were all like one person? Because like every single one of them, like she had different nicknames for each one, but they all seemed like the same person. They were like exactly the same, like a paper, like just a copy of each other.
Yeah. Well, that's why I kind of thought that they weren't real, because I think that's her perception of how like these types of girls are, like you know, because she's so different than like your normal sorority girl. So I think that's just her perception of them, and that's why they all seemed kind of similar. So like I said, I still don't know if they're real or not, but I'm going more towards they're not, and they kind of just lost their power in the end, meaning like that's it, like goodbye bunnies kind of thing. But I don't know. Maybe there'll be a bunnies too, and we can get some answers.
Some answers, because nobody knows anything. I feel like us that we didn't finish it, we're in that same boat as the ones who did finish it. We have the same kind of questions and thoughts.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
I wonder if it's gonna anything will become more clear or just like more confusing when it's adapted, because it's going to be like an AMC.
Oh, is it?
Well, that's going to be interesting.
I don't know if it's a show or a movie. I just know if AMC picked it up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do with that.
yeah, because it's like definitely a weird one too. Like,
yeah.
I hope they give us some answers.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why I only gave it 3, because I like a book that's got questions and that's not super clear, but I just felt like it was still just as open at the end, and I would have just liked a little bit more resolution.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
let's see. He says, was the whole book Samantha's writing? I don't think the whole book was. I've heard theories where people said that it's her writing started after she had been given the swan, like the origami swan, inviting her to the swan. And I think that's where it starts. And then that kind of makes me lean on the bunnies were real because she had seen them previously. And then she just made up a story around these weird girls that she is in class with, you know what I mean? Or that she desperately wants to be friends with because, you know, they sit close to each other. They're supposed to be part of the same like workshop group. And she kind of feels excluded because I think obviously she's got some abandonment issues. She has an issue, like she's, you know, the teacher where like that goes south. And that's kind of why she creates Ava in the first place, is like her whole issue with the teacher leaving, and then, you know, of course, like the other things leaving before.
I like what they said here. I think she has schizophrenia.
Yeah, they talked about the sign on the bus, because I do remember she got on the bus and that I think it was like a woman reading something about schizophrenia, or like taking a schizophrenia quiz in the magazine.
Yes.
So I do wonder if it's a nod to that.
I do wonder about that too.
That's interesting.
That's interesting. I didn't even think about that.
That's why I thought it was more of like a mental health, like fever dream or psychotic break that she was having.
Yeah, that's how
the
it felt.
story.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki says, I like not knowing exactly what's going on. Everyone can, and that's what I loved about it, honestly.
Yeah.
That's why I gave it 5 stars. And that's why I just love weird books in general, is you never know what's going to happen. You cannot predict it. I did not predict anything that was going to happen because it was just so weird. Anything could have happened at that point. And like with the whole thing with like Max, he showed up and then I was just like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying in my blog. Like, I can't explain why I like this really. Like, I don't think I could really accurately tell someone what this book is about. And I don't understand like half of what happened, but I just had like such a good time reading it. Like, it was just so interesting and engaging and like fun.
Definitely. And unlike anything I've ever read before, it'll probably stick with me for a really long time because I can't forget it. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'll always wonder what happened at the end. Was it real? Was it not?
For sure. Let's see here. So I think that's about the schizophrenia thing. That was the biggest hint to what was happening. But also, Monica said, saying she had a mental illness, it's giving it a logical explanation, which obviously this book isn't logical. None of it is. It's obviously a.
So, but that's the thing then. Like, if it's just, then it would just be nonsensical.
Right.
At the end, and I don't know. There has to be a reasoning behind everything that's happening at the end. Whether you come up with your own, obviously come up with your own ending or whatever, it has to be something logical, like a mental illness, or maybe she was. I don't know.
I just feel like when it comes to mental illnesses in books and stuff, I would hope that this isn't a book that really deals with mental illness, because I think it's so vague that if people then start making assumptions about things like schizophrenia and associate it with things like this book, it obviously could lead to a lot of misconceptions.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I really like the theory of it just being like her writing project or
and I don't know why I didn't think of that. She is in a writing class, but it never occurred to me. I kind of felt that everything was fake, but it never occurred to me that she could be writing something for the class.
Yeah. I like that theory a lot better than the mental illness part, because it's just it's touchy, and you can really you can sometimes not do it right, and I definitely
absolutely
would much rather it have been that. But I mean, then again, it's just like it doesn't really need an explanation at the same time. It reminds me kind of like Chuck Palahniuk, like where you really don't need an explanation. It's just weird for the sake of being weird, and I kind of like that about it.
I kept thinking of like Alice in Wonderland, how nonsensical that world is that she's in when she falls asleep. I kind of got like that same nonsensical vibe from the book.
Let's see. I love the ambiguity of it. Me too. Love the author's writing style. Yes, because I tabbed like a bunch of it. So let's all that. Maybe the entire book is her thesis. I definitely think that's a possibility, and I actually like that theory better.
Yeah.
Maybe deep down I wanted to believe the events never connected to a writing project. And then some people might not like that theory either. Reminds me of Black Swan. That's
it's very similar.
Yeah,
actually.
it is.
That's a good comparison. I didn't even think of that. So that's really good.
Yeah, it's like you can't really distinguish what's real and what's not.
Yeah, like minus the magic factor and like the bunnies and stuff, if you really think it's very Black Swan like.
That's a good comparison.
For sure.
Why do you think they chose bunnies anyway? Like, is it because they're kind of like the bunnies are kind of bunny like because they're just so like they're like
peppy. Yeah.
I don't know.
Also,
what would make them great men? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like bunnies are an interesting one because they're an animal that you think are quite like innocent and stuff, and then it's kind of like a contrast with what's going on.
Yeah, I've read some theories about this book being about like false innocence, and how and just how Samantha doesn't want to own up to her own crap, you know, like that she's just not the greatest person either, you know what I mean? That which I really like that too.
Yeah, I like what she says there.
Take her mission in mind, and this time never let go. Honestly, I was like, I think the biggest reason for which would lead to her imagining it all, that's interesting. I think that I loved it so much because I was actually really emotional at the end with Ava, like when she was killed and then she was gone, and it seemed like they had like had such a connection with, like Samantha had such a connection with Ava, and like it just like broke my heart. I don't know. I started to tear up a little bit at the end, and I don't know if anybody else felt that way, or I mean,
I did too, because I feel like she lost something in this. You know, like she really lost something that like meant something to her. in that. So I kind of felt sad when I read that line, like wanting to go back.
Yeah. That line makes me really sad. I saved that one too. It just like, I don't know. It was so devastating for her at the end when she lost Ava that it like broke my heart. I was like, oh my God, it's so sad. And when she says that she wishes she could imagine her back, like, or maybe she could do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Which is also an interesting thing, like why she didn't attempt it, or I mean, Jonah's gonna be her new Ava. Like,
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
don't know. Let's see. Bunnies are really innocent animal, but then there's also like bunnies. That is true because they like definitely wanted to mate with the bunnies, right? Like, what was with those girls and like, oh my gosh, that's why like I really think that it's like a dark comedy. I don't know. I had that dark comedy feel to me. I'm curious if they're gonna market it as a dark comedy when they adapt it. Like if it'll be, I don't know, or if it's gonna be more like horror.
It'd probably be like Riverdale. Like something like that. Dark on the CW, you know,
right?
Not too dark, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely, it kind of gives me like 90s vibes. Like I feel like in the 90s they went to these lengths for like these types of movies and pop culture. So, but I don't know. I don't know what way they're gonna, you know, transform it into film. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said, "Is it funny the university was named Warren? Don't bunnies live in a warren?" And I didn't know that.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't know that, but that's cool.
Which would make it seem more of a story that she's telling.
Right. Like the entire book is just that, or just like a dream. It's going to be darker than a teen show. I would think so too, because it's AMC and not the CW. But I don't know. I'm nervous about watching it because I love the book so much. I'm nervous about how they'll adapt it or who will be casted, and that's an interesting one.
Okay, I just looked up where bunnies live. It says they live in groups in underground warrens where they can hide from anything hunting them.
Ah,
Interesting
as well. Like if she was like in her story, was like using her story to hide from her real life almost.
I think so. I keep going back to the Alice in Wonderland. I think it's just a whole story that she put together because, you know, naming it Warren and they live in a war, which I didn't know either.
That's really interesting.
I wish I knew that reading it.
I know.
Because I feel like it's a totally different like look at the book now.
I'm glad I didn't finish it because maybe now I'll finish it.
Hi, Hi Gabby.
Aww. We miss you. Oh. Yeah, I'm curious to see how they'll end up doing it.
Yeah.
Let's see right here. The janitor references her hiding from real life towards the end. It's an art thing that Max was working on a performance piece or something.
Oh my gosh.
Someone else got Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
You're not the only one, Marcy.
Everyone's making such interesting points.
I know. I really would love to like reread it, like right here.
Or the acid trip.
I'm going to reread it now soon. I would love to reread it and see if I feel different about it or what. Like knowing these theories now, because when I read it, I didn't look into any reviews or theories or anything like that. So now that I like know all these different theories, I wonder what I would come up with or what theory seems best fitting for it when I
what you would catch, because I didn't catch that swan thing, so maybe now going back you can more or less pinpoint those out.
Yeah, or like the glove thing that Kat said that she
Right.
that Ava was wearing gloves, and I was like, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
At all. That was like a total shock to me.
Someone said they loved Max. Did you guys like him? I didn't like him either. I think that's so funny.
I did not. No.
Which one was Max? Remind me again.
I don't think you would have.
I don't think you met him.
No.
Are you in part 3 yet?
Let me see. I am at the part where they all leave to, I guess, on vacation or whatever. They have the last day of class, and she's sort of like in her apartment. She goes back to her apartment and she's having like, I don't know if it's dreams or imaginings, or no, she runs into the professor at a store.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm at like uppity grocery store type.
I'm at that part.
Oh, okay. So Max, I think he is in like the very beginning of like right before that.
Is it the guy at the bus stop?
Yeah.
Okay. I just saw that part where he's at the bus stop and they're all talking to him. I didn't understand what was going on. And then he gets on the bus and leaves. So I don't know, was that her doing?
Yeah, I think it's later, but I took it that's who she created with her bunny.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I found Max very sinister. I thought so too. I thought he was going to be more, I guess, evil than he turned out to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he ended up not being like a villain or like anything. I expected it to go a different way, I guess. And even though I wasn't really expecting too much, I wasn't sure where it was going to go, but I liked Jonah, not Max. Yeah. I liked Jonah more than Max. I still wasn't a big fan of Jonah either. I just loved Ava. I loved Samantha. Oh, she would have seen Max a little bit, but didn't know he was Max. Huh. Maybe. I don't know. Because she like creates him. So I don't think she sees him previously, right?
I think she's talking about Marcy, where Marcy is in her book.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Exactly. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I forget. Like her bunny was transformed. Max, yep. Max was
I remember in that part thinking, and this was one of my many confusions, when she tells, I don't know who she tells, oh, give me a ride, and she ends up going to the house where the bunnies are at, and then afterwards that part happens where the kid is in the bus stop, or the boy or whatever. But I guess I missed the part where she transforms the bunny. Because I was like, no, that has to be just a kid that's out there, because I missed that part where she did the ritual. I know they told her you're in charge of workshop today, but I don't know if they went through the whole ritual again or they just walk outside and see him. That I was confused in that part.
So I think that's when, like, I guess you could miss that because when they give her the bunny to transform, the bunny like runs outside, and then they go outside and they start talking to the guy and ask him if he's seen a bunny, and he said, "Oh, he said it got hit by a car or something."
Mm-hmm. He said like a wolf ate it.
A
wolf attacked it or something. Yes. Like a wolf ate it, I think he said.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know if maybe you were supposed to know if that guy was her bunny at first or not. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely like assumed it right from the start. Like as soon as they met up with him at the bus stop, I was like, oh yeah, she made this guy. So I wasn't surprised to find that she did anyway.
But I found him to be not like the other guys. Like he wasn't like repetitive or like in a dreamy state like the other guys were. And he just left and went away when the other ones were so attached to them and almost like slaves to the bunnies. This guy was just like, whatever. And he just supposedly leaves. I don't know if he really does.
I think that says something about Samantha's power. Like that she's stronger, I guess, than the bunnies.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, like her creations just came out better. Like they were just more advanced to them. Like the ones the bunnies were coming up with were just like their heads were exploding all over the place and they were, all weird, Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. So obviously, like, after she's initiated into this group and she's like kind of in that cult mentality and stuff. And then when the bunnies stop talking to her, she goes through this whole like depression state. Like that, I don't know. I thought that was really interesting just watching her try to come out of that group. Like she still wanted to please them at the same time. Like she's still, like they don't want to talk to me but like I want them to talk to me, or I don't know. Like I find that really interesting. But then like, she also kind of leans to Max a little bit too, because they're kind of ditching her. And then Max comes in and Max and Ava are together.
Yeah.
So that was, I don't know what that was about, to be honest.
Yeah, somebody says here that Max goes after Ava because Ava was Samantha's own person. Monica said that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was definitely confusing for me, that part. I was like, okay, are they maybe just swapping places now? Like, I just didn't, I don't know. And obviously it's not real. I don't know. But that's my thing. I don't know. But I will have to say, I feel like I'm going to change my rating to a 4 now that we're discussing it and we're clearing up a lot of things. Like, I actually enjoyed this book so much more than I actually thought I did.
That's cool.
Start,
I definitely think it's better to sit on a book after a while, and because I found myself, if I rate a book right away, I always think back later and I'm like, I should have rated it something different.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially one that like this, that's like go in a million different directions.
For sure. I think it definitely helps to look up these theories and kind of like examine it a little more, kind of pick apart the things that happen. In a way, Max invades Samantha's life. What she cares most is Ava. That's true.
I think I might not at the moment finish it, but I think that maybe later on I'll try to physically read it, because now after this live show and getting everybody's input, I think I will be able to just to go in there and be like, this is nonsensical. This is her writing a book, Alice in Wonderland, and I'll be able to grasp it a little bit better.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like the way to go. Like when you asked before who got right into it, like at first I was like, I don't understand this writing. I don't understand what's happening. What is going on? But like once I just like gave into it, then I started like really enjoying the process of reading it.
Yeah, I think so too. Because like you, it definitely like took me some time to get into it. But like I said, like I knew some of the like really weird stuff that was going to go down. So I was just expecting all sorts of weirdness going into it. And I think that helped me rather than hurt me in a way. I don't know, just because I was not super shocked by anything. I was like, okay, let's go there. This is fun. So I don't know. That's why I think I loved it so much. Somebody said I was confused that Max seemed to know he was one of Samantha's creations, but Ava seemed to not. That was a little weird too. That was a little weird too.
And like once Samantha told her, she like
freaked
out and like ended things, told him to leave. I wonder like if she was just angry that she was not the only person anymore. I know it's kind of like a manifestation of Samantha's mind in a way.
Right. So it's like, to me, it's kind of like Ava and Max were like different parts of her personality, I guess. So like maybe that part of Samantha's personality, it was like her fear and her sadness and her like abandonment issues. And then Max was more of like, I don't know, just like her dark side, like her anger, maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of how I took it. Like he was like taking revenge on the bunnies, kind of like messing with their heads.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Someone said I always find I increase my rating after discussing it with another group, and I think that's true too. I do the same thing.
Oh, I want to read Middle Game. I have it here.
I would love to read that also.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
I've definitely heard that one is weird, and I'm just so down after reading this one. Tell me all the weird books. Someone told me.
Yeah, we're the weird book club over here.
Yeah.
Yes. Someone had told me about a book called Made of Love by Alyssa Nutting, I think it's the author's name, but it's just like supposed to be really, really weird. Like someone who gets, there's like a guy who gets turned on by dolphins or something.
Oh,
Really weird stuff.
okay.
And I don't know. I'm just like really curious now. So I think I might end up putting that one on my June TBR, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. But
We're gonna be the weird book club.
Tell us all the weird books, and we'll read them. I am really curious about Middle Game, though.
Me too.
Someone said they rated Middle Game the same as Bunny, 3.5. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I totally want to read Middle Game now. I don't know. I wasn't interested at all because I read the Wayward Children series and I didn't really like it. And then Gabby had said she didn't like the Wayward Children series, but she liked Middle Game. So I'm like, maybe I should read it because we both loved Bunny. So I don't know. I'm going to try it out and see what I feel about it. But any final thoughts? I don't know where to go with this. This is my first time. So let's just like... I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know how to close this out. Let's figure it out. Let's jump into it. I mean, because we've already went over like our theories, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely changing my rating, so it's definitely gonna be a 4 and not a 3 now. Because like when I stopped reading it, I was just like, okay, what was that? Like I was actually like through the book. I was like, what was that? But now discussing it, it's really like a deep dive into like what your thought process is on what it could be. And I enjoyed that because it's very unique. And that's, a lot of books follow the same kind of cookie cutter theme and they kind of progress in the same pace and all that stuff. And Bunny did not do that. Bunny was like a roller coaster ride. That was fun. So definitely 4.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Have you guys watched anything from the author talking about the book? Because I haven't, and I'm curious as to see if maybe she just says, hey, it's up to you, or if she has a logical explanation.
I haven't. I've seen, I did read an article where it did say that that Warren, the university, was written much like Brown University, which is where she went to school. So I don't know if she's comparing it to like situations she had gone through or anything like that. I don't know because I never actually looked into it anymore. But I mean, I'm curious about it. I'm curious to see what she would have to say about it. Absolutely.
Yeah, same.
Has anyone read her? I don't think you guys have, but has anyone in the chat read her other book?
It's 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl. I haven't read it. I don't even know what it's about.
I haven't read it either, but I know I think she has one coming out the end of 2020, beginning of 2021 that I want to read. I think it has like the dark academia as well.
I did see that one. So it was on somebody's like upcoming releases. I think it was Kayla's video. Yeah, I saw that. I was really interested in that one. I don't know about the other one. Like, is it like a contemporary or like literary fiction? Like, what is that one?
I think it's contemporary. I don't know if it has like other stuff.
Literary fiction.
Or literary fiction. I don't know.
I know Kayla liked that one too. I was just curious if it was Bunny. I don't think Bunny was a debut, obviously. I think it's 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl, I think, was her debut. I really want to look up what her next one is. I totally forgot the name of it.
I can't remember what it's called either.
But I know it's supposed to be kind of like weird like that, I guess.
Yeah, I think so too.
What was I going to say? There's something else I was going to say. I don't want to forget.
Or I think it's All's Well That Ends Well, maybe? No. It's All's Well is her next upcoming book.
All's Well?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to try that one out. I'm definitely more interested in dark academia books. I know Kira said that's what she likes. I don't know, after reading, because I just recently read Ninth House, and then, but I'm also kind of, it's up or down for me, because I did not like The Secret History, did not like it. So I'm curious about that, because there's a book I just actually recently bought. It's right here. It's Ghosts of Harvard, but it's supposed to be like a dark academia type.
I'm gonna go pick that up tomorrow at my Barnes and Noble. I saw that. I
Really?
was like, yeah.
It
I'll
was
buddy read it with you if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of those like automatic buys, and I rarely do that. Like I usually look to BookTube and stuff for recommendations, and that book I read the synopsis and I bought it. Like it was just
Yeah,
so good.
I like dark academia books. I haven't read many of them, but when I do read them, I enjoy them. I think because there's a part of me that wishes I went to, college and was a part of a secret society. Like there's a part of me that wishes that. So I definitely want to read more of dark academia books for sure.
I feel that way too. I definitely do.
Yeah, this was the first book I've read with that element, and it definitely intrigued me now.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I loved Ninth House. That was like my favorite book of the year last year. I loved it. So I need more like that.
I still need to read that one. That one's on my TBR card because I love Leigh Bardugo, and I don't know why I haven't read it yet.
It's a lot. Like it's not really long. Like it's a little bit over 400 pages, but for some reason it took me forever to read it. It's just one of those books.
Dense.
I think it takes a lot of concentration.
Yes.
And some books can just feel that way. Like it could be a 300-page book and take forever to read, or I could read a 300-page book in like 2 days. So, like it just depends on like the writing and everything. But with that, like with Ninth House, it definitely took me a while too. Like just to I really wanted to understand the world, and that's why I think like a second. I think I rated it 3.5, but I think like a reread, I would actually like it more because I would understand the magic system and everything going into it as well. But would anybody else like end up rereading Bunny, you think, or are you just like done with this one?
I think I could be down to reread it, maybe in like a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it another try, or at least try to finish it, but not anytime soon.
What about you, Molly? I know you DNF'd it too. Are you even thinking about finishing it, or are you just done with it?
At the moment, I'm done with it. I think if I ever do pick it up again, it would have to be like in quite a while, and I'd have to be in the right headspace for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I don't know what else to say. So thank you guys so much for hosting with me, and thank you everyone that read with us and like talked in the Discord and just like all the things. Like I don't know, I just really appreciate it because I felt like this, I don't know, really took me out of my comfort zone. This is something I've never done before, and I'm just so happy to have done it with you guys because you guys made this so easy. Like I feel so nervous like right at the beginning of this, and now I feel like just so good.
It
seems like a lot of people want us to continue to do read-alongs, so.
Yay! Yeah, I see that.
They're a weird one to do.
I would totally be down. I would love to. We'll do some more weird books. Maybe we'll pick up Mona Awad's next book. Or I definitely have some weird ones in mind that would be really cool too that we could read. So if you guys have any suggestions, please.
I think we should look into Middle Game.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. None of you guys have read it?
I haven't. I think Molly has. Isn't that one of your favorite books?
No.
Oh, not Middle Game. I'm thinking of Ninth House now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Ninth House she read. Yeah, that's her favorite. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you guys are totally down, I'm down for it too. Yeah. But I'm gonna close this out. Hopefully I know what I'm doing and this stays up, but if not, that was fun.
Nice knowing you.
Thank you so much for asking me to join. I had a lot of fun, mostly discussing it with you guys now and getting other input.
I know it's been so great getting to know you guys more since like Read with Friends and everything. Like this was just a great way to get to know you guys more. I knew Marcy before BookTube, but the rest of you I haven't. And it was just so cool. And
I'm so
excited to do more of these. This was so much fun.
Yeah, it
Thank
was
you
fun.
guys.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.